All right, how we doing? How we doing? All right, back from class. All right, we left off right here, right? So what we have here is what's called a side-by-side bar chart. A side-by-side bar chart. These charts are interesting because they allow us to compare like kind of subcategories within categories. All right. So for instance, we did a bar chart that looked like, where's that one? We looked at this bar. We made this by hand, right? This was our bar chart we made by hand about phones, Android, iPhones, Android, and other. This is that same kind of chart, but now it's all broken up into ages, right? It's broken up into age categories. So there's three age groups. The orange here is 18 to 34-year-olds. The yellow is 35 to 54-year-olds, and then the green is 55 plus. Why the usefulness of these side-by-side charts is that we can like kind of see a little bit deeper into the data. We can see patterns that might not emerge otherwise. So, immediately my eye is drawn towards this large green bar here, which is like between 70 and 80% percent of age group. So it looks like, what does this mean? It means that of people who are 55 or older, and 2014 when the survey came out, between 70 and 80% of them had probably a dumb phone, right? A non-smartphone. And what else does my eye kind of glance over? I'm looking at the age range between 18 and 34. Well, looky here. Between 18 and 34, it looks like iPhone and Android are the most popular with this age group, but Android was beating them out in 2014, between 40 and 50% compared to somewhere between 30 and 40%. So 18 to 34-year-olds were liking iPhones and Androids a lot more than non-smartphones over here. And then what do we have? We have kind of a fairly even distribution between iPhone and Android with the 35 to 54-year-old group, with those older people liking the non-smartphones a little bit more, right? So this gives us a lot more what we might call granularity than just this one. If we looked at just this bar chart, we'd say, oh, other is the most popular in 2014 and leave it there and think that for every age group, it's more popular. But no, we can see when you break it down, it's all those people who are 55 plus with their non-smartphones, which is throwing off our data here. All right, so write a few sentences comparing the distributions of phones. So we write something like, among the 55 plus age group, other was the most popular phone. You can pause me here if you want to catch that, 35 to 54-year-old age group. Android was the most popular, with iPhone being close behind. I call it a close second, right? And then I might want, so I've talked about two of the most popular things. I would say, I could say something like Android and iPhone were least popular for the 55 plus age group. So these are all, you could have written other things, right? You could have written other things like, for the 35 to 54-year-old age group, iPhone and Android were fairly similar. You could have written that too. I'm just giving you some suggestion sentences. I want at least two sentences here when I ask you to describe a graph or describe a few sentences comparing the distribution of phone ownership. Oh, it says for the three age groups, so I got to make sure I include everyone. So I do need a third sentence in here, because it says for three age groups. So I need to talk about all three of them. I'll say for the 18 to 34-year-old age group, for the 18 to 34-year-old age group, I am getting my words mixed up here. For the 18 to 34-year-old age group, what do I want to say? I want to say that iPhone and Android. Oh, did I already write about this? I already kind of did this. Among the 35 54-year-old, Android most popular. I actually could just copy this, right? Because it's the same. It's pretty much the same. For the 18 to 34-year-old age group, right? There's 18 to 34. Android's the most popular, with iPhone being a close second, which was very similar for this age group as well. In fact, I almost might want to say that for this group, Android and iPhone were the most popular. You don't have to erase yours. I'm just erasing mine for accuracy. It wasn't that it's not that I was wrong before. It's just that when I look at these two bars, they're so darn close to each other that I might want to just, figure that's pretty much this. And actually, now that I look at this even further, I'm wrong, right? Other was the most popular if I want to write that. So you gotta look carefully at these graphs. Other was the most popular. All right, so here's just to give you an idea of to read carefully, to look carefully, to compare different bars. That's how you get it done. A couple sentences describing the distribution of a side-by-side bar chart. All right, radio frequency. Arbitron, the rating service for radio audiences, places U.S. radio stations into categories that describe the kinds of programs they broadcast. This frequency table here, summarizes the distribution of stations formats in a recent year. Make a bar chart to display the data. Export the chart or take a screenshot and upload it here. So here's what I want you to do. I recommend kind of making your screen look a little bit like this, right? Getting it to be half the size of your thing. I think for Android, if you just pull this over to the side, it'll do something funny where it'll go to split screen if you get it over there to the side long enough, all right? Oh yeah, see what it just did? Look at that. So I pull it to the side and I get half, all right? And now I'm going to click this. I'm going to pull this window. Whoop, no, where'd that window go? Come on, window. I want you right over here. All right, I'm going to pull this all the way to the side. And you see how I did that thing, that visual thing? I let that go. Now I got side by side going on here. I got side by side going on here. Now there it is. That's what I wanted. All right, so I've got side by side going on, and now I can look at these two things. I'm going to use this applet to create a bar chart. So here's how I'm going to do that. I first need a variable name. I'm going to call the variable name format. How did I say why format? Because I see it right here in my data table. This is about format, and this is the count, the numbers. All right, the frequency of format. I'm going to give it these category names, so I'm going to need to add these category names in here. Temporary, there we go. And I'm going to put in I press tab, and it moves me right over to the number, or to the next thing, right? So I press tab a few times, and it gets, without having to click all the time. You can click if you want. All sports, 1,274. And now I'm run out of room, so I've got to add a whole bunch of things here, right? I got to click this plus button a bunch of times until I get, I think there's 10 different categories here. So I'm going to leave that at 10. Go back to 3. Okay, I got contemporary. Contemporary hits, 1,012. Country, 2,893. News, talk, information, 4,077. That's my jam right there. Oldies, 831. Not so popular. Interesting. Religious. Oh wow, I had no idea. 3,884. Rock. That's less popular than I would have thought. 1636. Spanish language. That's not as popular as I would have thought. 878. Let's see, variety. 1579. And I need one more. I need one more for other formats. 4,852. Now you're probably not done with yours. You're probably just watching me do this one. You might want to pause this video here and just take your time what you need to fill this out. Great, you filled it out, and we're all set. We're going to begin analysis. All right, we're going to begin analysis. And looky here, there's our bar chart. There's our bar chart. And here's something I learned today. I learned today that if you press Control, Shift, and Show All Windows symbol on your keyboard, and then drag your cursor area over the screen you want to capture, you can take a partial screenshot on your Chromebook. All right, so it's Control, Shift, and your Windows button. We'll let you take. I want to see if it works on a Windows machine too. No, it doesn't work on a Windows machine. but hopefully it'll work on your Chromebook. In Windows, we have a snipping tool that we can use. So Control Shift, show a Windows symbol. You should be able to like drag like a rectangle across here and capture that as a partial screenshot. You don't actually need to do that in this case because you can actually just click export this chart and it'll download. I see that the file is called bar5. Right? For me, it's going to be called bar5. For you, it might be bar1 or bar2. So I'm going to go back to the assignment and I want to add this file. I don't need the bar anymore. I've got the file, so I'm going to add. Click Add File. Clicking Add File here. I'm going to select files from my device. This probably went in my download screen. In my downloads here. There's bar5. All right, upload here. And then I've got this right there. If I can confirm that I've uploaded something by clicking bar5, and it'll open up my Google Drive, and it'll share it with me. It's loading for a second. It's still thinking about it. There it is. There's my bar chart, right? And now that I've got a bar chart, I can talk about it. Now that I've got a bar chart, I can talk about it. Describe what you see in this bar chart. Well, maybe I'll go half and half again because I want to see what's in this bar chart, right? Let's see. Wow, what's this big one here? What's this big one? It's other formats. So other formats is the largest category. Other formats is the largest format. All right, so I don't know what other formats represents, but gosh, must be everything else. Yeah, everything else slammed in. Okay, so what's my next? Because that's not very interesting that other is the largest. It says that we don't have enough granularity to this data. I would say, wow, what's this? This is one after country. News talk information is number one, followed by religious. So I might say news talk is the second most popular format, followed closely by the religious format. All right, so there is my number 2 spot. There's my number 3 spot. And what else can I say? I'm going to talk about what the least popular formats are. Oldies, what comes after rock? Spanish language, oldies, Spanish language, and what comes after all sports? Contemporary hits. So I could say something like oldies, Spanish language, and contemporary hits are the least popular formats. And there I go. I've got 3 sentences. I'm pretty good. Pardon me. All right, so that is that question there. Now I don't have to do split screen anymore. I'm going to have a question. I would like you to answer this. How would you like using Google Forms? I'm sensing that there's some difficulty here. I'm sensing that we don't like these Google Forms too much. But if you like them, let me know. If you don't like them, let me know. We want to hear from you how this is. How to see, what's this video? I forget what this video even is. What is this? All right. Oh, that's how to see your individual feedback. So this video here is me explaining how to get your individual feedback on Google Forms. I want to remind you, you got to click Submit, the Submit button to save your work in Google Forms. This video shows you how to do that, and I'll show you here now. Time to save your responses. Do you want to save your response before moving on? Yes, I do. I click Yes, I do. I click Next, and then it'll show me a Submit button. The Submit button is critical. The Submit button is critical. Next does not quite save everything. I need to click Submit for this to work, okay? And then once I click Submit, it'll tell me your response has been recorded, and that's when you know everything is copacetic. All right? Thanks for joining me, Mr. Solt, once again, and help me find a new tagline, but I'm liking this one. I hope to see you in class. There should be a more dramatic way to end this video, but unfortunately, this is what I got.